IVM.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And today in the hot seat we have Sumit. He says, I'm having difficulty when it comes to sleeping. And this has been going on for the past 2 years of the pandemic. Whenever I try to go to sleep, all my work and life and thoughts come to me and my mind keeps me awake almost till morning. That results in affecting my daily work and productivity. Could you please help me out to do something about this problem? Lovely. Sumit, especially in these last 2 years, what has happened is that our minds have been faced with far more uncertainty than we've ever had in the past. And this is why you've been facing this for the last 2 years in particular. So let's first understand what is keeping you awake, then let's bring it down into what you can do about it. So, what's coming to you is what if thoughts, right? I'm using inverted commas here. What if thoughts? That means, what if this happens? What if that happens? You're constantly in this state of worry and fear, and this is creating a cycle and a loop in your mind. You're thinking about the future constantly. Very often there are two kinds of thoughts that keep us awake at night. There are sadness thoughts, which are about the past. So, only if I had done that, only if I had done that, if only I had made better choices. Those are all thoughts of sadness. Only if that person had not done this to me. Those are all about sadness in the past. These thoughts, I think, are more about what will happen if tomorrow I can't do this? What will happen if there is more uncertainty in the future? Basically, your mind is created to foresee and predict problems before they happen. And this is what helps us survive. If we can't predict the future, there is no way that we would ever have stored ourselves or stored food for the winter. If we could not predict the future, there was no way that we could say that we need to kill something right now and store it so that we could eat it 3 months from now. So, our mind is actually a beautiful thing. And it is this technology of being able to foresee the future that it's trying to show you. But the problem is that we haven't learned how to listen to our mind. Instead, we've learned how to distract our mind. We've learned how to shut our mind up. And if you shut your mind up and distract your mind throughout the day, when do you think it will get finally a chance to talk? Now imagine, Sumit, every time you wanted to tell me something, I interrupted you and said, no, 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 not right now, not right now. Would you like a dosa? No, 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 not right now, not right now. Why don't we watch Netflix? No, 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 not right now. That is what we're constantly doing to our mind. And as a result, the mind is still bottled up with all the stuff that it wants to tell you. And it doesn't get that relief. So as a result, what you have to do is you have to spend time each day listening to your mind, analyzing it, and then putting those thoughts to bed. So what I suggest you do is you start a journaling practice. What does a journaling practice mean? You write down every single thought that comes to your mind. So take an hour in the morning if you can, or once you come back from work is also fine. Sit with a book and a pen and just write down all the thoughts that are running through your mind, all the fears that are running through your mind. Whatever is on top of your mind right now, just put it down on paper. Because once you put it down on paper, it is almost like you've heard what your mind is trying to tell you. And because you've done that, it won't bother you anymore. Now, this is going to take a while for you to get the hang of doing. But when you do this, you will suddenly realize that you can fall asleep like a baby because you've already finished listening to everything that your mind is trying to tell you. Then, of course, listen to all the podcasts about creating a sleep routine, and we can link them in the show notes below. Creating a sleep routine, how to set your sleep alarm, what to do just before bed. So you can start those sleep habits and get to bed faster. But your primary problem is that you're not listening to all the thoughts that are running through your mind. Now, some of these thoughts might be scary, but understand that when we are in a state of fear, what we're trying to do is predict a future that currently does not exist. So, the acronym for fear, the full form of FEAR, is false evidence appears real. False evidence, there's no truth to this, appearing real. And that is what our mind is playing games on when we are trying to go to sleep. It's almost like a movie screen has been created and all the aspects of our future come running in, or all the aspects of our past come running in. All the things that you should have done, or all the things that you must do in the future. So instead, start calming your mind down through the day, listening to your mind through the day. So by the time you come to sleep, you can actually sleep and drift off like a baby. So this is something that really helped me out a lot, Sumit, because I was in a very similar situation as you a few years ago. So start this habit and tell me how it progresses and if it helps. Remember, be patient. It'll take maybe a few weeks for you to start feeling sleepy and not having these thoughts. But just start practicing writing. If there's anything that comes up in the writing that you need to take action on, take action on. Otherwise, just let it pass and understand that probably is not true. Lovely. If you want me to answer a question of yours, you can send it in with the link below in the show notes where you can ask me a question, and then I will feature you on our next Hot Seat episode. I'm Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach, and remember, awesome lives, they start with awesome habits. Oh my God, IVM, you got the 7-year itch. Congratulations, 7 years of being in existence. Happy birthday to you. So excited, and I'm so honored to be part of this journey with you. Usually in a podcast, it's me who speaks to you and you who listens. But I've been seeing your comments, and it's time. It's me listening to you. Following the overwhelming success of this podcast, the good folks at IVM Podcast Network have decided to come up with a Kannada adaptation of the show for those who prefer listening to it in that language. Do make sure you let your Kannada speaking friends know about this as well. Now, if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am at Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. We have a brand new habit coaching online course, quizzes, videos, and a lot more on the website awesome180.com. So check it out now.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. Our storytellers and storytellers Vineet meets legendary singer Usha Uthup and writer Shrishti Jha, who worked on the singer's authorized biography, The Queen of Indian Pop. What happens when a Mauryan spy meets the chief soldier of the Kadamba Nadu on a dark night? Kavita Jiva tells us on the Venbel Zenni Tamil podcast. On Audio Gyan, Kedar talks to Mohar Roy, co-founder of Co-Design, about building branding systems. On Press Decode, Sarah Bhakta and Prafulla touch upon the heartbreaking topic of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And on IVM Likes, Zalak asks Jalasmi and Antariksh about their thoughts on the movie Gangubai Kathiawadi. So, on a personal note, I wanted to let you all know that this week marks the 7th anniversary since I started IVM. I'm eternally grateful to the team we have here, especially Kavita Rajwade and Tejas Sringarpure, who have been here since the beginning. They've seen the struggles, our eventual acquisition by Pratilipi, and our continued struggles to make podcasting a large and thriving part of the media industry. We have the best hosts in the world, and I have to say that I'm so glad and so grateful that they have chosen to work with us. And finally, I'd like to say thank you to you, the millions of folks who have heard or watched our content. All I can say is, you ain't seen nothing yet. I hope you join us as we continue this journey. In the meanwhile, do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any platform you're listening to. You can also check us out on YouTube. To get a list of all of our channels, you can go to ivmpodcast.com/YouTube, where you can go to all the channels. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, SBI Life Insurance, Bank of Baroda, Max Life Insurance, India Water Portal, and HDFC Life Insurance. Thank you so much for making this possible.
सफर, रास्ते, मंजिल और मुकाम अक्सर ये हमसे कुछ कहना चाहते हैं, पर हम हैं कि अपनी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में इन्हें सुनने से कतराते हैं। नमस्ते दोस्तों, मेरा नाम है केशव चतुर्वेदी और मैं आपको ले चलूंगा कुछ ऐसे सफर पर जहां आपको एक नया नजरिया मिलेगा सफर और मंजिलों को देखने का। आइए इन किस्से कहानियों में डूब जाएं। हर मंगलवार और शुक्रवार